This video is sponsored by Smart School. Hello, everybody. Today we are doing a draw along focusing on prompts in your sketchbook. If you would like to grow as an artist and you can't afford an art class, we've got everything you need here at Art Prof: critiques, tutorials, and professional development. Deepti, our first prompt today is going to be blind contour self-portraits. Are you ready to go?
It's one of my favorite things to do. I love doing a blind contour. They're objectively always just fun and hilarious, and I think everyone should do blind contours all the time because they're so funny.
Deepti, can you explain to everybody exactly what a blind contour is and how to do it?
Yes, so we are doing a blind contour of each other right now. So what I'm doing is I cannot look at my page. I can only look at my subject, which is a little bit hard because I can kind of see my Procreate screen on the screen I'm looking at. But the other thing that you can't do, or at least that I don't do when I do blind contours, is that I can't lift my pen or my writing implement. So you're kind of just trying to draw using your eye as the pencil, like you follow the face, and then translate that into what your hand is doing. Obviously, it's going to look funny and weird. Oh, I can already tell mine is like messed up because of Procreate. It became all angular. Oh, I looked at it.
Oh, it did that automatically?
Yeah, because you know how when you like hold down the pen, it like makes things angular. Wow, this is hilarious. I want to do another one.
Off?
I don't know. I wish Jordan was here to tell me. Maybe I will, for the case of this, be able to pick up my pen because then that won't happen. I'm going to do another one.
Wait, did you just draw yourself or did you just draw me?
I drew you, obviously.
Oh, I drew myself by accident. I should have drawn you.
Oh, draw. Yeah, I wanted to draw each other. Should I draw me this time?
Yeah, we'll just flip around.
Okay, I'm going to draw me.
And by the way, everybody, we would love it for all of you to get out your sketchbooks, draw along with us in any media you want, because after the stream, we will be in the Art Prof Discord and you can all post what you make. It's really fun to see. And if you want to know what art supplies I'm using, the links are in the video description below. So tell us in the chat who here is going to draw with us.
I have my hand on my computer screen so that I don't see what I'm drawing on my Procreate tablet. Oh my gosh.
What am I doing?
I made myself look demonic. Wow, you made me look really good, Clara. I look like a Bratz doll.
What?
I look cool.
Oh my God, that's kind of cool. How did
I look like kind of sexy in yours, and I look like demonic in mine. I look like blood is coming out of my eyes in mine.
You look like somebody gouged your eyes out.
I know. Why is that? What even are those? Oh, I think I was trying to draw my smile lines, but it went horribly wrong.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta do you again. I'm having a lot of fun drawing your hair.
I want to draw you again. Okay, I'm gonna do you. I'm gonna change my color.
Yeah. Another thing, this is a tip for all of you. I really like to play with the width and darkness of my line, especially with these crayons. It's pretty easy to get a range. So Deepti, I'm just going to have so much fun with your hair. Your hair has these really elegant strokes. It's all about your hair, Deepti.
It is one of my most iconic pieces of my body.
It's all your hair. I don't even think I drew your face.
Oh my gosh.
That's great. Oh my goodness.
I'm still trying to draw you.
Christine says, these are incredible. I would buy stickers of them.
Oh my god, look at my drawing of you, Clara.
Oh my god, I look so cool.
You look like a potato.
I do look like a potato. Am I a potato in your eyes?
No, you're a potato in my hand, I guess. Oh man, that's so funny.
I think Deepti, that actually that would be really fun to develop further, you know?
This? Oh yeah, like as I look at it, I'm like, I want to like shade it now. You know what's fun to do is a blind contour of your hand too.
Oh yeah, that can be really fun.
I kind of want to do that. I'm gonna look at my hand outstretched in front of me.
Actually, Deepti, you know what I think is fun about some of these sketchbook prompts is they feel random, but sometimes you do these prompts and you're like, whoa, that's a really cool idea. Maybe I'll take that and turn it into something else.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these are so fun to like just keep working on. Like the potato one of you, I could totally see myself like shading it and making it into a full-fledged kind of piece.
Oh my gosh, I kind of like this one. It looks
I love that one.
It looks like a caricature, like Al Hirschfeld style.
It looks like a Lord of the Rings character.
Oh, you look like an elf. You look like Elrond, don't you?
Yeah, I look like an elf. I love that.
So I would like to know in the chat, if you were in the Lord of the Rings, what would you be? I would totally be a hobbit. What would you be, Deepti?
Honestly, personality-wise, I'd probably be a hobbit too.
My husband, he's definitely an elf.
Really?
Well, he's all tall and, stretchy.
Stretch. See, now I want to shade my hand that I drew.
Ooh.
I'm inspired.
Davis says, aren't we all potatoes in some way or another?
Yes.
I like that thinking. Cosba says, I noticed, Prof Lieu, you are using your hand to keep track of placement. Do you think this is beneficial for artists to try? I feel like it made your lines more intentional, even though it's a sketch. Yeah, I think for me, a lot of it is just being really physically engaged with the drawing, because this sounds really strange, but I like to grip the paper. I mean, you're using an iPad, Deepti, so it's a little bit different, but I just like touching the paper. There's something about the tactility that I really like.
Especially with blind contours, it helps to kind of keep track of where you are, because if you don't, things will just get start looking super crazy. So I think it helps with the blind contour to keep track of where you are by like making sure your mark is like kept on the paper. That's just like a technique.
Yeah, because I'm just like feeling around, right? Because that's all I have to go on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to draw myself again.
Yeah, I'm doing myself too.
Yeah, you're right. It is all my hair. My face is so not important.
Your face is important, Deepti.
Not in comparison to my hair, though.
Well, so here's the real question, Deepti. If you were dating Dev Patel,
oh gosh,
that's that's a situation. Like, does one of you have to agree to wear your hair back when you go out on the town? Because maybe you'll be too unbalanced if you both have your hair down, right?
Oh my God, can you please look at what I just drew? I look like a horse.
Oh my God, are those teeth?
Wait, yours is really good.
Oh my gosh, how did I get the features? They actually look sort of normal. That's very strange.
It looks really good. You look like ephemeral. You look like a spirit coming out of like an orb.
Oh my God, that's deep.
You do, though. It's beautiful. You're making like really gorgeous, like Hobbit, Lord of the Rings characters, and I'm making like disgusting potato heads, which I think is.
We're surprised by you drawing lumpy potato looking objects.
I guess not. I guess you're right.
Although, you know what's funny, Deepti, is I've only done a few, but do you see how the first drawing is so different than the last one?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely grow. Like, let me see. My first drawing, oops, that was my first drawing was this. My first drawing was this, which I felt like was a little bit like, it's like a little flatter and not as like specific, which is funny to say that this is more specific, but I feel like you can kind of see the angle of my face that I like the way my head was tilted a little bit more here. The hair is more specific. Pretty cool.
I want you to develop all those, Deepti.
I want to too. I feel like a bit of my personality is like a Horcrux. Like a part of my personality is like put into each one of them. They're all different sides of me. Do you know what I mean when I say a Horcrux?
No.
Oh, it's like a Harry Potter thing. You don't watch Harry Potter?
Well, I didn't grow up with it. It's just not the same thing for me.
That's true. Did you watch Lord of the Rings growing up?
I didn't, but I had such a crush on Legolas when it came out. So
who didn't? This one I look kind of like sassy.
You do. You look like a little mushy.
A little mushy.
And Solvagant Hair says, oh my God, I have made beautiful monsters. Well, you are going to want to stick around because next week, I believe the stream is coming up where Deepti and I are going to draw celebrities, but we're going to turn them into monsters.
Super fun.
Oh,
I like
this. Really nice suggestion. Lisa says it's fun to do another attempt on the same page, but use another color. I'm going to do that.
I'm going to do that too. What color should I use? Orange. I'm going to try and
resist complementary colors.
I'm going to try and do it like with my hair. Kind of different.
I'm layering you over me.
I'm layering me over me. I like seeing how my brain translates my face.
It doesn't even, it looks like it just went.
Oh no, mine looks really bad too.
Yeah, but at least you can take yours away. Did you put it on a different layer?
Goodbye.
I'm very jealous right now.
We have a comment that said from Kasim that says, it's funny you both have very similar textures in your line. That's interesting because one of us is working digitally and the other person is working traditionally. But we use Procreate for the digital stuff and it actually has some cool options. I'm using the 6B pencil and it gives you kind of a wide variety of like mark making options, which is kind of cool.
I'm going to turn up my lights, Deepti, because I'm at that awkward stage where it's light outside when we start the stream, but then it turns dark.
Oh, yeah, because you're on that West Coast time.
Yes. Soyton is asking, how are Caran d'Ache crayons different than Crayola? Oh, they almost feel like a different material. I think the main difference is that the Caran d'Ache crayons, they have a vibrance to them, and you can layer them a lot. They're also very smooth. I feel that whenever I've used Crayola crayons, the consistency is a little bit all over the place. So sometimes you hit a harder part of it, and these are so creamy the way they go on the surface of the page.
Yeah, Crayola is kind of waxy. And you can't really build on it. I think these ones you can kind of layer easier.
Deepti, we've got a challenge here from Colleen. How about blind contour with your less dominant hand?
Ooh, okay. Love that. I did this one just now. I feel like I kind of look like a superhero. I like it.
You look like you're up to no good.
As most superheroes are.
Exactly. All right, I'm going to draw you this time. Oh, wait, I have to use my left hand. Oh, this is not going to be good, guys.
Yeah, this is not, I can't even grip this Apple Pencil with my left hand properly. Okay, I'm going to draw you too. Oh, gosh.
You know how some people are fairly I'm like, my left hand, I don't know what it does all day.
Yeah, my left hand is asleep all day.
Oh, this is really hard. Sheesh. Like, I can't.
Oh, no. Mine is so bad.
Oh, come on. That's hilarious, DD.
I can't. It's like, it looks like a 2-year-old. Oh, my God.
At least yours has a face. Mine doesn't even have a face.
Wait, I want to try again. I'm going to try me. I feel like I know my face a little bit better, so maybe there'll be something that I can. I'm going to make my pen a little smaller. Okay, there we go.
Kessim is saying next, use both hands at the same time. I'm going to do that. This is good.
I don't think I can on the iPad.
Oh, yeah, you can't, right?
I don't think so. But maybe I'll use my finger. Ooh, wow, I look scary. I'll do one with my finger.
Do you ever draw with your fingers, or do you pretty much always go for the pencil?
I pretty much always go for a writing implement, yeah. But I like using my fingers. I feel like in school I would use my fingers, like when I was doing more traditional stuff. But now most of my work is digital, so. But this is fun.
I don't think my left hand did anything, Deep D.
Was your left your purple or the orange? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, it did a little bit of a highlight.
It was a little sprinkle of orange.
Ooh, certainly says use your feet next. I don't think I can do that right now, but Clara, be our guest.
Nah, my setup is not conducive to that. If you want to watch that Daniel Day-Lewis movie, My Left Foot. You ever see that movie?
No, what is that?
It's an old movie, but I think it's a true story about someone who had a disability, and I think it was something like only their left foot could move. I could totally be wrong, but there is a scene in there where he draws with his foot.
Oh. Oops.
Maria says, my drawings are hilariously horrible, but I love the page. That's great, Maria. All right, Deepti, I think it's time for the second prompt because that was a really good warm-up, actually.
That was a really good warm-up.
Okay, so the second prompt is to take some old artwork that you don't care about at all, and in Lauren's words, cannibalize it.
Ooh.
Has Lauren ever told you this?
No, that sounds horrible.
Well, I'm not the type of person that goes back and works on pieces, but actually, let me show all of you these pieces that I did when Lauren told me that, and I had so much fun. So these are these mezzotint prints. And the thing is, when you're printing an edition of prints, you have to get all the prints like perfect. And so inevitably, you end up with a lot of prints that are like not good enough for the edition. but you still have them. And they're mostly fine, but there's some little thing like, oh, maybe there's a dot here, or maybe this got overwiped or something like that, because printing an edition is really hard. So oftentimes if I print an edition of 5 prints, I'll have to print 10, maybe 15 to get the 5 that I really like. So I end up with
I
this,
had
like,
no idea.
Yeah. So Deepti, are you going to take like an old digital drawing and mess with it?
Yeah, I was just kind of mulling over what I wanted to do. I was wondering if I should cut up one of these contour drawings I just did. Or, because I'm working digitally, I can kind of use something that I do care about, but I can just duplicate it. Like this self-portrait I did.
Yes. Oh, Deepti, we have a question from Ayane who says, what brush is that? I guess the swirly things you were drawing before.
The swirly thing I was doing earlier. Here, let me find out for you. It was this brush was in calligraphy. It's called Odeon. It's the second one down. I had never used it before, actually, but kind of just this cool effect. Okay, I think I'm going to cut up this self-portrait.
Maria says, I don't have any old art of mine here for me to do that with, but I have cutouts from magazines. Yeah, if you don't have it, just something lying around that you don't care about that you can mess around with in your sketchbook. So these are obviously older, but these are when I took the mezzotint and I would just scrape at them with a razor blade, and then I would glue them onto another sheet of paper. And this is really fun. I had so many copies of this one print that you actually see the face 3 times. And then here, I think I made the paper really wet and I was just cutting it up, and then I started drawing on top of it. So this is a really fun way to just cannibalize your artwork.
Cannibalize. I'm not super, everyone knows that I'm not the Procreate queen, but I'm playing around right now with like what happens when I just like do layering things and just kind of like move it around and invert the colors and stuff just to kind of start us off.
So you're going to try to do some overall dramatic transformation first?
Yeah, and then just see how I can like cut it up. Just to play around with it first and see what Procreate can do that maybe I couldn't do as easily in traditional media.
So I actually have these really old printouts of these photographs that I took a long time ago, and they've just been sitting around. They're fine, but they're not anything I could sell. Like the quality of the print is not that good. I think I just printed them on photo paper on a regular printer. And so something like this is nice because where else is this going to go? It's just been sitting in a closet somewhere.
Right. Yeah, you might as well use it.
Let's just rip it.
Yes, that feels good, doesn't it?
Oh my God, Gigi, that's so upsetting.
I'm using the original photograph that I used.
What?
Isn't that kind of crazy?
That's really crazy. Sheesh. All right. See, I'm not a collage person at all, but I like the idea of collaging things into a sketchbook a lot.
Me too. I love that too. I'm not a collage person at all either. I like working from scratch, but this is kind of fun when it's digital and you can kind of just like rework and undo. Well, I kind of love how creepy this is.
I'm really traumatized right now.
You should expect to be traumatized when you're on a stream with me. Don't you know that by now?
Oh, Well, I think it's more, I don't know if I'm going to be traumatized or if I'm going to laugh my butt off.
That's true.
Or both.
I'm glad I can keep you on your toes.
Good. I want to put this. It's a little bit too big. Let's try something like that. Okay.
We have a comment from Soyton that says, didn't Matisse kind of invent collage as an art form? I didn't know that. Do you have any knowledge on this?
I don't know if he invented it necessarily. Maybe he just gave it more visibility. I mean, I can't imagine that he was the first person to cut up paper and do something with it, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Bees is saying, I'm always so excited to see other people's sketchbooks because it's kind of like looking into their mind process. I don't know. It's just so telling of what kind of person they are. Yeah, I think mine is telling a lot about me as a person right now.
What, that you like to zombieify yourself?
That I'm a lunatic? Yeah.
Yes. We see through that act, Deep D.
But I'm a nice lunatic.
Oh, so that makes it better.
Don't pretend like you didn't hire me to be on art prof staff because you were like, I think I need one kind of crazy person on the staff.
Well, here's the thing, Deep D. Let's say Dev Patel comes into your life.
Oh gosh, you keep bringing
him
up.
Well, because you talk about him all the time.
Do I? I don't think I do.
No, he seems to come up pretty often.
All right, whatever you say. Yes. What about Dev?
You're dating him and he meets nice Deep D. At what point do you reveal all of your odd quirks in your artwork? Like,
I reveal it pretty immediately. Also, my social media. Like, have you seen my Instagram? It's not trying to hide anything.
That's true. He probably would figure it out pretty fast.
I mean, if he's smart, he would stalk me on Instagram before, agreeing to anything, because that's what I would do. You have to know that they're... Huh?
Does he have an Instagram?
Oh, I don't know. I actually don't know.
Somebody look it up. Does Dev Patel have an Instagram? Because I might need to follow him if he does.
Yeah, but you have to do your due diligence. You have to go make sure that the person is a good person, not posting anything kind of whack. Doesn't have a secret other partner, what if you go on their social media and find out that they're in a relationship, Yeah,
that might get in the way, I suppose.
So you gotta make sure. Gotta do your due diligence. So while he's doing his due diligence, he would find out that I am a little crazy when it comes to my artwork. But I think I would be like, that's so cool that you have this whole nother side of you in your art, thinking outside the box.
Gonna work that artist thing, huh, Deep D?
Yeah, this is my artist statement. You know what's I'm going to do that'll be kind of fun is I'm going to remove all the layers and just see what I just drew. That's so cool.
Oh, you should make something on that.
Yeah, I'm thinking now I'm going to add to this.
MJ says, actually, historically, the one which paper collage or papier collé is attributed to is George Brock, but maybe someone else did it first, just not officially. Oh, I guess I feel bad for Brock because he is somebody who became famous because of the whole Cubism thing, but he's totally overshadowed by Picasso.
Ugh, aren't we all overshadowed by Picasso?
He's not that great.
That's what I'm saying.
You know something, Deep D? My first impulse with this collage being somebody who draws a lot, is that I would just put down some pieces and then get my crayons out and start drawing on it. But I'm actually having more fun just doing this. I'm actually thinking I don't want to draw on it. Isn't that weird?
That is weird, but I think that's awesome. Like, that's the whole point of this, no? To like not force yourself, but allow yourself to kind of like work in ways that maybe you wouldn't gravitate to originally.
Well, I just cannot imagine that I would ever sit down and do this if it wasn't for this stream, you know?
I mean, it's true. Art prof makes me do things that I really don't want to do. Like sing, for example. And talk about my celebrity crushes.
Well,
you talk about your celebrity crushes freely all the time.
Well, so here's the thing though, Deepti. I'm in a break right now because
from what crushing?
You can't watch your crushes all the time because it doesn't feel as good if you watch Jane Eyre every night. Like you've got to take like 2 days off, you know?
Okay. So you're just watching things without men you find attractive?
Well, that's not true. I watched Stephen Colbert last night. I find him so attractive. I mean, not in a like hot way. I just think he's witty and funny. That's all.
Okay. That's fun. Whoa, this is looking so cool. I really like this portrait of me.
It doesn't even look like Procreate.
I know. What did I do? I can rewatch what I did on the stream. That's nice.
Wait, what brush is the yellow?
It's all the pencil brush. It's just because I'm using like layers of like blending, whatchamacallit. So it's kind of like making everything weird looking.
Oh my gosh, that is really amazing. Like, I don't think I've ever seen you do something like that in Procreate because most of the stuff has been character, which is more like flat colors and lines, but that is like super painterly, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so different than what I'm used to doing, even just regularly. So cool. I'm having fun with it. Look at what sketching can
refreshing.
Yeah. And it's like so awesome like on Procreate to just be able to like take off a layer and be like, oh, I like it like this. Now I like it like this. Whoa, like that's kind of cool too.
Yes, saying anyone to give a tiny list of prompts so far, please. I need to sleep. You know what? They're in the YouTube video description below. I have all the prompts listed. We may not get to all of them, but they are down there if you want to challenge yourself. And by the way, if you didn't know, we also have another sketchbook stream that Kat and I did, I think about a week ago, which is the same format that Deepti and I are doing right now, but it's a different set of prompts that you can do anytime you want.
I rarely use the smudge tool, and I'm using that right now to see kind of what happens.
I don't like the smudge tool. Is that just me?
I didn't really like it, but when I did the master copy stream with Jordan, I felt like it helped me a lot to get that kind of like painterly look while being on Procreate.
I don't know. It's like, for me, when I've used it, I could just be that I suck at Procreate, but I feel like it just makes everything look mushy for me. Like I can't get the structure I'm looking for.
I get that.
Hellish D says, it's so unsettling, but I like it. Deepti's piece looks like a painting created in a horror movie.
Yeah, I feel like this looks like when you're in a horror movie and you go into like the manor and they're like, that's the lady of the manor. She died like 5,000 years ago.
Is that who you want to be, Deepti?
No, are you kidding me? I don't want to be a ghost stuck in a house forever. That sounds awful.
Nah. Well, but what if I could be a ghost stuck in a house with Hugh Jackman? Maybe that wouldn't be so bad.
I don't think any man would be enough for me to want to be a ghost stuck in a house. Sorry. I don't like anyone enough.
John is saying, I'm a junior in high school, want to apply to RISD. Do I have enough time to complete the portfolio and improve at the same time? Depends on how hard you're willing to work, John, because I have definitely seen people pull it off in less time than that. And I do think that we have a lot of resources that are going to help you out. So it's definitely possible. My recommendation would be to join our Discord. The invite link is in the description below because there's a lot of people in there that can help you out in that area. So nothing's impossible, but you have to work pretty hard. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think you can definitely do it. I think, like Clara said, it's going to be a lot of work, but I think if you're putting in the work, you're inevitably going to improve because that's just how it'll be. But yeah, definitely watch. Like, we have so many videos where we actually critique portfolios for college applications, and I think that could also be really helpful for you in your process. But yeah, just put your mind to it, set up a schedule, have a good sketchbook practice, and I think you should be okay. I definitely do. And I think, Art Prof is a great community for that because we have a ton of art school graduates who did it, who went through it. We have a lot of people who recently got accepted, a lot of people who are like you want to be accepted to not just RISD, to a lot of schools. So join our Discord because everyone is there and it's a fun place to be, and ask questions. I'm in there twice a week. Clara's in there a lot, and we answer questions, but our community is really like where it's at. But I think you can definitely do it. Believe in yourself because I believe in you. I said I wouldn't sing, and here I am singing.
Got to save it for when we hit 100K subs, Deepti.
I know, you're right. Ugh. I have to sing for you all. Someone help us get to 100K so I could just get the singing over with. That's like really what I'm like. I told too many people that I would do it, so now I have to do it, but I don't want to do it, so let's just get it done.
We have a comment here from Glennis N. Hey, DP and Clara, I'm currently studying visual communication and it's frustrating. I felt like I learned more from YouTube, thank you Art Prof, and Adobe Creative Cloud than from school. It really depends on people's situations because I oftentimes think that a lot of going to school is about fit. For example, is that school the right learning environment for you? Is it providing the content that you need? Because I think there is this prevailing assumption that, oh, if I go to art school, it will take care of it for me. And I'm like, no, there's a lot you have to learn beyond what they teach you in school.
Yeah, definitely. And every school, like, for example, I went into RISD's film program, which is so different than like USC or UCLA's film program. It like you really have to do your research and see what school works for you. And I'm sorry that you're not having a good experience where you're at, but I think that it's great that you're finding other resources to help give you the education that you do crave. And if that's working for you, then run with that and see how you can make that a bigger part of your learning. But yeah, I do think art school, it's a lot about it is the fit. I had a really good experience with my education because I had professors like Prof Lieu, who we have on screen right now, teaching me. But, to each their own.
I'm using sandpaper right now, and I think I'm also going to do some cross-hatching with the razor blade. Can people tell me in the chat if the noise is too disruptive? Because if it is, I can mute myself while I'm doing it. Or maybe it's an ASMR thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of like the way it sounded when we were chatting before the stream.
I don't get the ASMR thing. It doesn't work for me. Does it work for you?
What is it supposed to do? I didn't realize something had to work. What is supposed to work?
Well, Lauren has tried to explain it to me several times, but it's supposed to give you some sensation. And I've never had that experience.
It's supposed to give you the sense. I thought it was just supposed to make you feel kind of like tingly.
Well, isn't that a sensation?
Oh, I guess you're right. I don't know. I always feel kind of gross when I hear it. Like I feel like I'm too close to some. Well, I've only ever heard like ASMR from like people talking, or I've heard like people chewing and eating and stuff, and I just think that that's gross. I don't like that.
Whoa.
I want to hear you chew.
Deepti, it's turning red.
Did you say rad or red?
Red. Look at that.
Oh, yours. Yeah.
It must
That's so
be
cool. It's like fire is coming out of it.
Is that what it is? Okay, that is really, really weird. I was not expecting that to happen.
I love that. Man, I love that I could just scroll through all these multiply layers and just see colors like change. Like that's so fun.
So Deepti, I'm wondering, are you feeling more bold in Procreate now because it's a prompt and not because you're trying to make a character?
Oh, for sure. I'm also feeling more bold in Procreate than I am like when I'm working traditionally, because I can just be like, oh, never mind, and delete something, which is not the case generally when I'm. Whoa.
Well, because
Sorry.
in the past when we've done character streams, it's a lot more straightforward, and it seems like this is you just sort of ping-ponging back and forth between these experiments.
Oh, I'm definitely ping-ponging. I have no thought into what I'm doing, which feels really nice. I'm just kind of like, oh, I've been wanting to try using this brush for a while. Or like, what does this brush do? I've never used it before.
Is it because we're in sketchbook mode, or is it because it's a prompt? Like, I'm sort of curious why you're in a different state somehow compared to when we're doing, say, a character stream.
I think for me, it's because I'm in sketchbook mode. I'm like, this is whatever. Like, I'll throw it away if I hate it. But it might also be because I'm reworking an old piece of mine, which I've already kind of like done a version of that I was happy with. So I don't really feel like I need to like prove myself on this, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, for sure. Totally makes sense.
Do you feel looser because it's a sketchbook?
Oh, for sure, because there's no expectations. It's like, well, whatever I do, what I do, and then I'll move on and do something else.
Yeah, exactly.
RB Dick says, Art Prof gives me freedom and a good way to learn to see other artists' work so I can get better with my artwork and have fun. The have fun part is pretty important, I would say.
Definitely. Wow. You know, if you watched one of my early Procreate streams, I really talk a lot of smack about it, but I don't believe that anymore. I love Procreate. We are friends.
You know what, Kiki? I feel like I just want to take one of the photos and just work on that.
You should.
I mean, I know this is supposed to be a sketchbook stream, but I kind of really want to do that.
Well, that's the point of sketchbooking, is you'll get inspired and then maybe you'll go work on a final piece. So I think you should. I mean, I'm kind of obsessed with what I'm doing right now and just want to keep like playing with it.
Well, let's hear from the chat. Who here wants to see Deepti and I move these beyond just sketchbook experiment. And who here wants to see the other 2 prompts? Because we do have 2 other prompts lined up. I don't know. I sort of don't want to do the prompts anymore. I just want to do this.
Well, I can do the prompts if people really want us to do the prompts, but I kind of feel similarly where I'm like having a lot of fun with this. I want to just like animate the color.
Oh, could you do that like right now, or does that take forever?
I think that'll take forever. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
someone in the chat knows. Wow, this is getting so crazy.
Well, you animated that butterfly really fast, didn't you?
I did. Well, really fast, meaning like it took me like 20 minutes. But yeah, that's quite fast for animation.
I was gonna say that's pretty fast. Oh, Deepti, you know what's sort of fun that I wasn't planning on? So you know how I'm sanding this?
Yeah.
I'm sanding right to the edge up here of the collage piece of paper, and that almost makes the photo like merge with the page.
Oh, that's so cool.
I know, isn't that fun?
We have a comment for Bleepkin that says, I think you're in the mood of the new idea, so probably better to finish it. Part 2 prompts for later. W315 is saying, do what moves you. I'm getting into this page I'm working on now and not ready to move on. Vash is saying, can we have another live like this if you decide not to do the next prompts? I think that's definitely doable. Mills is saying, I would love to see you take the idea further. Seven Angelic is saying, yes, part 2. I think the consensus is we keep working on these. Thank you, guys. And we do a part 2 where we address the other ones.
Cool.
A lot of people are saying that they're torn. Take the project further.
In some ways, isn't this sort of the whole point of a sketchbook prompt, is just to get you started? Because I know we've given that, oh, sketch 10 minutes every day, but in some ways you're just tricking yourself into working onto something, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's 100% what it is like you tricking yourself into working on something larger because you're taking the pressure off, and then halfway through you realize that you're like an hour into working on something and you're like, oh, wait, what?
Well, I mean, that's what happened with your selfie self-portraits.
Yeah, this original piece that I'm messing with now. That's exactly what happened. I kind of want to take a photo of myself right now and put it in this.
Wait, what? You're going to layer the photo over the painting?
Yeah, I kind of want to take a selfie because I have the original selfie in there, and I kind of want to put another one in.
Oh my God, do it.
I'm gonna try and recreate this look. Okay, hold on. What was I doing?
MJ says, Clara, your artwork reminds me of, oh boy, I think I'm going to mispronounce this, vitiligo, the skin condition. It's so beautiful. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did not pronounce that correctly, but anyway.
Ah, that's my face.
Hellish D is saying, it's blowing my mind right now how Professor Lieu is creating art without using even a pencil. I think that's where it gets really fun, is when you're not using the typical supplies that people expect you to use. Oh, there's so much powder, Deep D. I guess this is good because now I can pick it up and... Does everybody see the powder? Then I can put it in the wastebasket. There, now you can all see this a little bit better. Katya is saying, what do you think about kids wanting to go into art? I've absolutely never been interested in anything else and take it very seriously compared to my peers, but I'm not even in high school yet. You know something, Katya? I never wanted to be anything else. And I know that sounds insane, but it just never occurred to me to be anything but an artist. Now, I know that's not the case for everybody, but if that's what you want to do, it makes sense to me. I get it. How about you, Diti?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, if you're really being pulled towards something, I think that you're inevitably going to find a way there, or you're going to feel unfulfilled. And I knew from a very young age that I wanted to be an artist or do something creative. And I knew that I would just not be happy if I didn't do that. And I would much rather be like a starving artist, which I'm not. But like, you know, I'd rather do that than be like a finance person with like $1 bajillion, but be unhappy. And I think I made the right decision. I mean, I am super stressed all the time, but I'm still like happy at the end of the day. Like, I'm happy with what I'm doing. So yeah, I say go for it and follow your passion.
I mean, I think it does depend on who you are, because I know people who really do want to have a Porsche and eat out at 5-star restaurants. And I don't know, it's just not that important to me, because my feeling is I have what I need. I mean, right. I would like to fly first class all the time, but it's not the end of the world.
Right, that's true. It does depend a lot on like what your life goals are and like what you kind of see in your future. It's like if you want to have like 12 kids, is being an artist with the risk of not making a lot of money the thing to do? Maybe not, because you have to feed 12 kids.
Well, Deepti, I actually went to RISD pre-college with one of my best friends. And it's so funny, we went in such different directions, because when I met her at RISD pre-college, I like worshipped her. I thought she was like, oh my God, the most amazing artist I'd ever seen. I remember I was very jealous actually, because she was so good. And the funny thing is that later on, she ended up going to a liberal arts college, which is fine. And I just always assumed, because she was so good at that pre-college program, that, oh, she's definitely going to be an artist. How could she be anything else when she's that good?
Right.
But it turned out she didn't have the spine for it, because she had this teacher that was not that nice. And she was so upset. She's like, that's it, I'm done. And I'm like, really? That was only one class. But it occurred to me later, I was like, you know something? It's better to realize that sooner rather than later.
I mean, that's so true. Like, to be an artist, you have to really be okay with getting ripped to shreds constantly, which might not be what a lot of people can handle. So.
Ariel says, Clara, it looks like your face was made of stone. Now you're scraping away to reveal the flesh underneath, and the face is cringing. Oh, wow. That's very intense. Actually, do you want to see, everybody, what the photo is of? Because I have some of them here. Hang on, let me get rid of all this dust, and then I can show you. Because they're actually photos of sculptures. Although I broke them. Deep, did I ever show you this?
Yeah, you did. I remember you saying that you were going to like throw them away. And I was like, don't do that.
Well, these are beeswax. And so I definitely won't throw them away. I mean, if I do anything, I'll melt them down. But I actually had this idea for them that I never followed through on. I was thinking that they would be interesting, almost like these artifacts that you would like dig out of a box or something. I don't know where I was going with this.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
Yeah, these are the beeswax pieces. God's Little Artist says, I took a career placement test. It told me to do art. That was before I even knew I was an artist. I've never taken one of those before. Have you?
I did in high school, and I was the only person in my class that got like, it was like 100% you should do something creative.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and everyone else was like a little bit creative, whatever. But I also think part of it was because I already kind of knew. So on that career assessment, I wasn't afraid of being like, this is absolutely what I like. Yeah, I want to be an artist. Yeah, I want to be this. Where other people were being like a little bit more practical, I think. And I was just like, yes, I want to be a rock star. Because it does ask you like kind of like crazy professions. And I was like, yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? Whereas I think other people were like a little bit more
Does it really ask you that? Do you want to be a rock star?
It doesn't ask you if you want to be a rock star, but it asks you is like something about like music. I remember it asks you about music and other things. But I was like, yeah, down as long as I'm not at a desk cubicle. We have a comment from Ren that says, do you two have a specific schedule or habits when it comes to art making or advice? I really struggle with routines, especially since my classes don't start at the same time. Clara?
I mean, I'm a total slave to routine. I can't get anything done if I don't stick to a schedule. I'm sort of boring that way. What helps me is to have a certain trigger. So, for example, I have a very specific playlist when I'm working. Mostly, I just listen to total trash. Like, I don't put on intelligent music. Like, I was listening to the Xanadu soundtrack. It's so bad. And I just was listening to it on, and it's just, it gets me in the zone. Like, I'm in the right place when I hear that playlist.
You gave me really good advice when I first started working in the field post art school, which was to mock a commute in the morning, which meant that like, you know, go leave the house, get a coffee, and then come back and get in the rhythm of like using that commute as your like get ready moment. And then when you come back home, you're ready to work, which worked well for me because I was so used to walking to studio every morning that it reminded me of that. And then when I walked back into the house, it was like, okay, now I'm in studio. So that worked well for me. I think that also like we have a whole stream on 10-minute sketchbook prompts. And that always helps me set a, like, if I'm at least sketching for 10 minutes, that's like an easy, achievable thing to do. And it creates like a rhythm. And that will get you at least sketching, you know, and then if something comes out of it, like what we're doing here, that's great too.
I had a colleague many years ago, Deepti, his whole mantra, sounds like a Nike ad, was just start.
Whoa.
And it sounds really dumb, but I really think for a lot of people, that is the hardest thing, is picking up the pencil, putting your hand on the sketchbook and making it move. I think once the hand is there, once it's moving, you're fine.
That's really true.
That moment before you're actually touching the paper that you could step away and go do something else.
Yeah, because once you're doing it, it's almost like going on a run, which is something I hate to do. And I honestly never do. So I can't even talk about it really. But it's like once you're doing it, you're kind of like, oh, well, okay, well, I'm already here. And then slowly you stop thinking about it. And then you just start doing. And then you start feeling good. And you start feeling like, oh, yeah, I could do this again. And then once you start getting in the rhythm of it and realizing that it's not going to ruin your life, you just do it more naturally. I say this as I've like not exercised in like God knows how long. But like that is kind of how it works. It's almost like going to the gym.
Oh, it's totally like going to the gym, because once I get to the gym and I'm on the treadmill and I'm moving, I feel great. And I'm always glad I went, because then you exercise, you get those endorphins, and it's awesome. But that moment where you're like, oh, I should go to the gym, I don't want to go.
Yeah. There will always be a million reasons to not do something.
Deepti, have you heard that quote from Chuck Close, who, yes, we all know now is a horrible person, which is basically a lot of people from art history right now. One of the things that he said that I think is great, he said, inspiration is for amateurs. The rest of us just show up and get to work. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. This whole, oh, I got to be in the right mood, or I got to be feeling good about, and I'm like, you're never going to feel good. There's always going to be a reason to not feel good. And so you might as well just show up and work.
Yeah, and I mean, inspiration is really important, and finding inspiration is really important, but like, you want to be in a place mentally where, like, when you feel inspired, you can go work. And I think getting there is by having a routine of just, like you said, just working. Because then when inspiration strikes, you're in the routine to just create something. Like, I know that when I've had like periods of not doing anything, I kind of will even feel, I'll go to a museum and I'll feel super inspired, but then I don't actually do anything with how I feel inspired. You know what I mean? Because I'm like,
Right.
not used to, I haven't worked in so long, and I'm kind of like, oh, how do I get started? So yeah, don't wait for inspiration to strike. Be ready to strike when inspiration strikes you. Wow, that was a cool quote that I just invented, you guys. I really just thought of that on my feet. I surprise myself every day. Thank you.
I feel like there is a similar saying about how you always have to be ready because you never know what opportunity is going to come up. Because it's true. Like, I actually once, when I was running the gallery at Wellesley College, I think there was some artist I was speaking to, and I said, oh, I really like your works, and you send it to me. And usually I'd say, okay, send me your website or whatever. There was no Instagram at the time. But I remember this one artist was like, oh, I don't have the photos. Sorry, can I send it to you later? And I was just like, you're done. Like, I wasn't going to wait around for that.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, they were not ready.
And you don't want, like, nobody, like, literally what I've learned is that nobody's going to wait around for you. Nobody's going to waste their time waiting for you, because there's always going to be someone who's more talented, more ready, more available than you are.
Well, there's people lined up around the block waiting for whatever opportunity you squandered. So it's just a matter of having that stuff ready, because you don't know. And oftentimes stuff is like that. It just pops up and you're like, whoa, oh my gosh, what happened?
Hannah is saying, I'm writing that quote on my wall, Deepti. I don't even know what I just said.
We'll have to go back and make a short out of it.
Seven Angelic is saying needs to be on a t-shirt. It should be on a t-shirt. It felt kind of long though. What did I say, you guys? Yeah, we should go back and watch it. Someone tell me what I just said. I know it was cool.
Kesem is saying, what if for a stream you flip through an older sketchbook or older finished works of yours? You know, there is a stream I did, I think it was a few weeks ago. It's called My Ugly Messy Sketchbooks. And I did show sketchbooks from when I was like 5 until now. It's a really hilarious stream.
Yes, and we also have the stream, What Should Your Sketchbooks Really Look Like? Hint. It can look like anything. But in that sketchbook stream, this one, What Should Be in My Sketchbook, Kat and I show our old sketchbook pages, and it's pretty revealing and great.
Well, I think for a lot of people, it's validating to say, whoa, not every page is a masterpiece. That's not normal for people to have sketchbooks like that, even though that's all you see on Instagram.
Yeah, that literally is all you see on Instagram.
You know what's funny, Deepti? I was thinking before that it would be more fun just to like work on one of these as a sheet, but I sort of like the cutout shape more.
Oh, I love the cutout shape. I feel like it's like cool that you're kind of letting it bleed even. Like,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how that continues.
Well, so like, do you see the spot here where I'm like actively scraping at the edge?
Yeah.
That's sort of fun.
Yeah, I want to see that edge like soften a little bit.
Yeah.
Or like merge.
Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna run with that, Deepti.
Haha, the student becomes the teacher.
Oh yes, that has only happened 1,000 times over here.
I think sometimes it's interesting because people sometimes think that I've had comments before when I've like given you feedback, Clara. People are like, "Oh, it's so scary to like see you critique Prof Lieu," and I was like, "That's so interesting," because I'm like, even back when I was 17 years old and in your class and scared of you, I still felt comfortable giving you feedback, which is interesting. Like, not that I did that very often, but I don't think that was scary. I think I was just scared of you as a person.
Well, I was scary. That was not an accident. It was very carefully orchestrated.
Yeah, I know. Now I know.
Well, actually, to be perfectly honest, it's terrible to say this, but if you're a young-looking female minority professor, if you don't scare people to death, oh, wow, your life is going to be really hard as a professor. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true.
That's interesting. Do you feel like from the student side or from the faculty side?
Oh, both. Absolutely.
Like your students wouldn't respect you?
Yeah, I mean, even with the way I got comments on my course evaluations that I don't think male professors get. Like, there would be comments about my hair, about, I think there was one semester I was pregnant and there were comments about that. I was like, wow.
Okay. Ew.
Yeah.
How dare they?
I know, it's really rude.
And also, like, no, what? No.
Yeah, so, I mean, I was aware of that when I first started teaching. I was like 28 and I looked like a student. And it was a problem for me a lot of the time. And so I was always very, I mean, probably too much uptight about like getting respect. It was very hard.
Yeah. I mean, the respect thing is huge because no one's going to listen to you unless you have their respect.
Well, and also the funny thing about RISD freshmen that's really specific is they are simultaneously thinking that, wow, I know everything, and also, oh my gosh, I am so freaking scared. It's strange. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like you think you're all that, but you're also terrified.
Yeah, although I definitely didn't think that I was all that. I was like, I definitely walked in there and was like, oh, cool. I am the worst artist on the planet.
Well, so I'm not saying every freshman is like that, but there are a lot of freshmen who are like that. And so you have to be prepared for how you're going to handle those types of students. Because did I ever tell you about the student that made a huge drawing about how everything was my fault?
Yes, you have told me about that.
Oh my God. I was like, I don't think 60-year-old male professors get this. I just don't think they do.
Oh, gosh. Lordy, lordy, lord.
Maria says, my sister-in-law teaches high school. She looks very young. Students ask if she's old enough to be there. She is also the scariest teacher there. Yeah, I used to go into some office at the school and they'd be like, oh, do you want to fill out your work study? I'm like, no, I'm here to do payroll. Like, it was that problematic.
I actually, when I was 22, I taught high school. And I remember my first day, I walked into class and I was early. I walked into my classroom and I was sitting there eating a bagel. And this like group of like really sweet guys came up to me and they were like, "Are you new here? Where are you from? Do you need like a friend?" Like they thought I was like, they thought I was like a lonely new student that they had never seen before. And I was like, "Oh, actually I'm your teacher." Actually, I'm not 14. I'm 22.
Oh, yikes.
But it was pretty scary. I was definitely like, I was not mean. I was definitely quite nice, and I wasn't like, it wasn't like bad, but I was definitely like scared of them. Like I was thrown back into high school being like, I hope they like me.
Well, I think all the comments about me looking like a student or being mistaken for a student, they just started to stop when I left RISD. Like I would still go into the RISD store and they would be like, "Oh, where's your student ID?" I'm like, "Here's my faculty ID."
Wow, that's funny because I feel like RISD has some pretty young teachers that they should be more used to that.
Guess not. Ewan says, "I've been art blocked for like 4 days in a row. I'm so excited about the piece this prompt has me working on." That's great. I mean, everybody gets those blocks. That's typical, but that's where I think these really chill streams where we're all just messing around and have no expectations, I think that's a big part of it.
Definitely. I mean, I'm so like loose right now. I'm just doing whatever the heck I want and it feels so good.
Oh, I can't wait to watch the time lapse of that later.
Oh, it's going to be crazy.
And we have a question from Anon. "I wondered where Professor Lieu got the inspiration for the Duralar etching technique. I was wondering if you'd be open to others experimenting with it." Yeah, go ahead. I don't have a trademark on that technique. And actually, if you go to my Instagram, I think there's a highlight where I documented all of the process, because a lot of people look at those drawings and they just assume they're charcoal drawings, but they're not. They look really, really different in real life. Oh. I feel like I'm performing surgery on this thing.
I feel like I'm performing plastic surgery on myself.
Oh my God, that's deep, deep, deep.
I'm on fire tonight with all my isms. This whole stream is going to end up being a series of quotes by Deep D.
You need to make your own book. You know, one of those inspirational quote books where they're like, "Follow your passion, just be yourself." I'm like, okay, thanks. Great advice.
Although I don't think I'm very inspirational. I think I just say things that make people laugh.
But see, I'd rather laugh than be told again to follow my passion.
That's true. This looks like an album cover. Like what I'm doing looks like a psychedelic album cover. Seven Angelic is saying deep thoughts with Deep D Men. And whoa, Alex Rowe and I should have a podcast together where I have some deep thoughts and he just like says nice things. I think that could be kind of cool.
Well, we were thinking Alex Rowe could just read tax returns to put people to sleep.
Oh man. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, I don't think I need to hear tax returns ever in my life, but to be put to sleep, perhaps that sounds.
If Alex is reading it, maybe it's not so bad.
That's true. Sweet little Alex.
Rachel Running says, "Thank you for providing me this special opportunity to learn and share community. Love from Bisbee, Arizona." Very cool.
Bisbee, Arizona. I've never heard of Bisbee, Arizona. I've always wanted to go to Arizona. Maybe I'll go to Bisbee.
WC says, I remember a teacher from my high school that would always be mistaken for a student. On the first day, she would sit at one of the desks pretending to be one as a joke. Oh my goodness. I don't think I could do that.
Really? I would do that. That'd be funny.
I probably couldn't have done it in the beginning because when you first start teaching, you're just so self-conscious and so worried, and you want it to go well. Like, I feel like I couldn't laugh for 4 years when I started teaching. It was just so stressful.
Yeah, college teaching is also a whole nother.
Oh my God, it's so hard. I mean, Deepti, I was like bullied by some of the older faculty. It was terrible.
Ugh, God, I hate hearing that. That's just, why do adults bully each other? Like, that's just, didn't we already do that? Like,
nope, wasn't enough.
Why? Why are people mean to each other? Stop being mean
Alice
to each other.
is saying, I'm loving the way you both are taking these prompts and finding inspiration from them. Seeing a creative process is so fun. I think what helps me, Deepti, is seeing how just random and unpredictable it can be.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, I think working with you, Clara, like seeing that like you're being loose, I'm being loose, it kind of makes it it sets the bar not low, but like it makes it feel like, okay. You know what I mean? It's like, okay,
really
like
low.
Oh my gosh, yours is not low. Look at it. It's beautiful. But like it sets the bar to a place where like we're both just like loose. It's not like you're working on some crazy masterpiece that you've been working on for 6 months and I'm like messing around and then I'm just like constantly comparing myself to you. I'm just like, oh, we're both agreed to just have fun and see what happens.
Well, tell us in the chat, do you guys like these loose sketchbook streams where we don't have really much of an agenda at all? Because yes, we have certain streams where, okay, we want to demo this particular technique or I want to explain something about anatomy, but we have had pretty high numbers on these like chill sketchbook streams.
Do people like the chill streams? We have tons of people saying they love the loose streams. Everyone is saying they love the loose streams. Less stress, I agree. These are so fun. They're a blast, so funny and relaxing. I'll take credit for the funny. Just kidding, you're funny too, Claire. Wriggles is saying, yes, it makes me feel better about experimenting. I love that. Katya is saying, these are so great. I normally don't have time to draw, and using your streams as an excuse to draw has been so helpful. I love that. Jellyfish is saying, so chill. I just hang and do homework and draw. Wow.
I don't know about you, DP, but I do like having a prompt though, because I think if we just opened our sketchbooks and said draw, I don't know that I would do very well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a prompt, I always need something to get me like a little push, something to help me get started.
Mills says, it's nice to have other people working on art together and chat about art and life. And you know something else, Deepti? I find it helpful because you ever work on an artwork and you're in your room by yourself and the artwork's bothering you and you're getting frustrated? I feel like if I'm with somebody else working or here online, I'm much less likely to get frustrated because I'm a little bit distracted.
Oh, for sure. And then also, like, I'm chatting. Yeah, I'm not in my head about it, which I think is really important for sketching, because you don't want to be like in your head. You want to just be loose and see what happens. So when I'm talking to you and we're making jokes and we're experimenting, I'm way less in my head. And then I'm just kind of like doing what feels natural and just stuff that maybe when I'm by myself, I'd be like, maybe not. And I think that's really important. I definitely, if I was sitting here by myself, I would not have made the piece that you are seeing now. I probably would have gotten way too in my head about it.
We hope that all of you will join Deepti and me in the Art Prof Discord. We will be hanging out in the Art Alongs channel. The invite link is in the YouTube video description below. And if you want to be cool, you better join, because, sorry, it's not cool if you're not in the Discord. And don't you want to be cool?
Hey, that's bullying. And we just talked about that. Bullying is bad.
Well, I'm not the only bully on the Art Prof staff. You didn't hear Lauren's story the other day about her color bullying somebody for their less saturated colors. Subscribe to our channel so you can continue to grow and develop as an artist. And a big thank you to our top Patreon supporters. We literally would not be here without you. Your resources are what make it possible for us to stay up and running and to keep all of our art education free and accessible to everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.